All right, beloved. So if you got online with the sigil, good for you. You've got access to that intelligence and it spoke to you, good for you. Work with your intuition and you continue to build. If you got scared by him, that was planned. So, intuition, right? You got access to something, you can talk to it, right? We're talking about there's like three of you, right? In your body, there's you, right? Then there's a left path and a right path, right? Polarity, like outermost polarity one direction and outermost polarity another direction, right? And then there's a middle point, right? If you're asking questions, right, to your intuition, you have to be careful of what side's answering, right? You have to, there's parameters, right? The reality's flexible, right? But you know certain things can't be possible, right? There are certain things. We know that the things they talk about in certain books are never going to happen. There's no great sky father whose son's going to come and deliver us in the way that most modern religious texts will tell you. It just is not going to happen. It can't happen because it's a fairy tale story. It got chooched up. Listen, it got chooched up out of the paradigm that it existed in. They wanted to have their own paradigm, right? Think about it. They needed to have their own deity to go after, right? And they hide the stuff they're doing. They're not telling you that they're running around with the Sun Cross or the Saturn Cross. They're telling you that's the cross of Jesus, right? But that's not true. It's the cross of Saturn. And your clergy from the Vatican down appreciates Saturn at a level that we can't express other than except through their ideologies and through their iconographies and through their statues and through their buildings, right? It's like a guild. The uninitiated know nothing, and the people at the top have the secrets. It's a warlock's guild. See, the reality is this paradigm, it's ran mostly by warlocks, for whatever reason, right? The witchcraft paradigm, the warlock is stronger. You can fucking argue all you want in the comments. It's a known fact. Whatever powers there are, right now, it could change. It could change. We're not saying it couldn't change. Because it could be a polarity shift. That could be part of the polarity. Or we're going to feminine rulers, right? Could be. Let's not rule that out. Because just as Jupiter and Saturn are personified as men, they have feminine counterparts. The other half of them is a female. You're going to get that intelligence in two forms, male or female, right? You're going to get the intelligences of the other things, the planetaries, which we're all divisions of, male and female, like a mix of the shit. And when you think of these things, the reality that it's got us trapped in, because our spirits are attached to this thing, right? They're attached to the earth, right? And what we get access to is mind power that's infinite, that's not of the earth, right? We are earthly containers, earthly antennas for the spiritual mind power counterpart, right? And you have an independent channel as an antenna, a ground channel, a default channel, where things need to get put into it, right? Because when you get born onto the earth, what happens? Are you automatically intelligent? You need to get raised up to a certain level, usually by your parents. Society does a little bit of input. But if you get the right inputs, you get the ingredients to make certain changes in your reality, right? Which is all we're talking about. Excuse me. Witchcraft, warlockery has always been to make changes in reality, stuff that's not here yet, or that was here before, that could be re-brought back for the benefit. It was meant to be the benefit. It's supposed to be the benefit, the operational system benefit for humanity. But it's been, like many things, locked up and kept for centralizations, right? Which is why you don't have guilds of everybody learning every damn thing no more, right? Because building things, making things, bringing things into manifest reality, that is actual craft. It takes information. And people say, oh, I extracted it out of myself. Oh, it's my mind. No, that mind came from somewhere. You had to build a mind up here. Let's talk about this. You had zero mind when you started. So it did not come from here. It did not come from here. It came from somewhere else. Your mind, the things that make your personality, your default settings, come from the body container, the body. But the other things you do, your graduations, your understandings, it's not earthly. Because we talk about concepts that aren't physical all the time. Well, how do you get non-physical concepts? You have to have a mind that's been expanded with the engines and ingenuity to do those things, the capacitance, right? You can't get to a certain point in craft until you get a capacitance. You can't just jump into craft. I mean, I'm the greatest. It will never happen. You could be favored, because that's what happens. People that get good, they're favored, right? You're like relatives of the planets or something like that, or relatives of the stars, right? Fractions of their intelligence, right? So you're going to get something that a mix without that chief fractionation. The chief fractionation is Saturn and Jupiter. Saturn says the world does not spin without Jupiter. It will not turn around. And without Saturn, Jupiter would come in on the Earth and smash it. Saturn keeps Jupiter back, and there's these cycles where Jupiter gets closer to the Earth, and you can see a Saturn cycle that draws it back. It has this where it gets closer to us. When those closer things happen, it's not good. It could be all sorts of earthquake, crazy ass shit. And they say, oh well, Jupiter's the magnetosphere is not close enough. The magnetosphere is not what does it, goddammit. So completely think of it like a cosmic gear. Even in the temple of Jupiter, they had the gear cut out around the vault. They want you to know that these things are cosmic gears. They just turn. And we're on these cycles that constantly happen. It's not about government or people or politics. That's not what rules. That's not what rules, guys. Cosmic cycles rule. People and their ideals and their polarities constantly change. But the cosmic stuff constantly hits and repeats. The mind power that's allowed for us is cosmic. Necromancers will tell you that. Real magicians that actually get mind power to do things that trick people, right? The illusion, right? That's all part of that. That concept that it comes from an intuitive process for something that teaches. Even Scripture says that the power teaches. There's a power that reveals secrets. There, period. End of story. They're powers that reveal secrets. Let's call it. And a sigil gives you access to a spirit. 9 times out of 10, they're one-trick ponies. It's got one spirit, gives you access to one style of understanding, whether it's your next sigil, or the next thing you need to do to make your sigils work, or the next thing you need to do to move the intuitive process to build, because it's a process. So it's like a video game. I was talking about it's like a tag game, a game of tag, where you either, depending what you're doing, want to touch a warlock, or touch other witches to see if they have a sigil on them to pick their sigil up. Typically, if you don't have a sigil on you, you're going to be in a good position to pick someone's sigil up. There's some other parameters. So if you touch hands with the warlock, not a good thing to just go ahead and do, but that's how you get into the craft. Typically, if they have a sigil on them, you'll get a sigil flash. And they'll usually do that. Carry a sigil, try and get other people's sigils with a sigil. If you don't have a sigil, you're not initiated, it's going to flash. That's your new sigil. You take that one, and you put it in your grimoire next to your other one that you make that's just like it. You change some features. Nothing too crazy. Follow the format like a logic puzzle, right? That's your information for the day. You'll have a great rest of your day, beloved. We're trying to get some of this stuff out. Cosmically, they want this out. So we're just going to wrap on it, y'all. You have a great rest of your day, and maybe you can apply some of this stuff to you and get your intuition rolling.